Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chapter 5 of Book of Jamato. In between chapters, I had finished up most of the interior for the build we did in the previous chapter. So I'm going to be storing a lot of my stones. And I have some furnaces and blast furnaces in here. And yeah. So that'll be the purpose of this building here. I still have a couple more things I want to add, like some blocks of coal up there to kind of show that that's the fuel source for blast furnaces here, and then also for the furnaces here. And I think I'm gonna close this up as well. Yeah, and then I added just like a little workstation in the middle. Interiors are not my strong suit, so it's nothing fancy in here. Hopefully within this series, that'll be something that I can work on. I also cleared out the village that was here before. So you can see that the paths are still there, but the rest of the village is gone. And then I started to extend this land here. So again, the idea is that this is going to be sort of an airfield or airport type of area. And so we're going to need it to be pretty flat. I have a couple more buildings in mind. So I have an idea for a wooden watchtower. I'll put up on the screen a bit of a time lapse of me drawing up one. So we'll need some spruce for that, because I do want to make it out of a darker wood. So yeah, let me get those materials and then we can start building. I should mention that I built a tree farm here, because I know I'm going to need a lot of wood, a lot of different types of wood. So I built a tree farm here. This design is by ENX04. I'll put that down in the description in case any of you guys want to check it out. But yeah, it wasn't too hard to build. I think I've built a couple of different versions of this before. But yeah, I already did some AFKing for some spruce. And then you can see here that I do have a bit of a tough wall built around the perimeter. So this would be one of like a long-term project that I do. I think as I'm doing things throughout my world, I'll just slowly contribute to it. But I want to make this into a sort of have like a world tree. I would want the trunk of the tree to kind of match up with the top of the tree farm here, and then start to branch out at this level here. So yeah, that'll be something that we work on, you know, just bits of different chapters. We might just contribute to it, because that is going to be a pretty big project, and I don't want to burn myself out with that. What I have planned for this area is for the sort of runway to be here. So I'm going to start to clear out this space little by little. I think it would make sense for the tower to be, I guess, somewhere up here. let's knock down these trees, get them out the way, and then we'll take a final look at what we built. Well, I've definitely built better things. And I think this one I built sort of just from my head, and I really like how this one came out. This one I kind of drew up based on what I've seen sort of old watchtowers or old sort of communications towers might have looked like. And I just think I got the scale wrong. I think the base is just too wide. But you know what? We'll leave it there as sort of a memento to, where we started from. I think from far away it looks nice. I guess maybe it's just the angle I was looking at. That's when it starts to look sort of thicker because of those lattices and how they are kind of thick. I don't know. We'll keep it. Maybe we'll learn from this and then build some smaller one like I mentioned before, maybe over there. But for now, yeah, I think we'll leave that as is. So one more thing I do want to do is to kind of connect some paths up here. Because this is going to be an airfield, figured they're going to have a mix of just dirt roads, dirt paths, and some sort of paved roads. So in between the different warehouses, we'll add some of these paved roads. So just andesite, stone, maybe some cobblestone, and we'll have that go along, connect between the buildings. I think at some point it can transition into more of a dirt path to things like the watchtower, just to kind of represent they put the time in paving those roads as opposed to, there's not many people going to the communications tower, so it just left it as a dirt path. So we'll need some andesite and stone. We'll start with this. Here's one. This one will connect across here. And then this is sort of to represent where one plane would be stored. And so then we'll have the airstrip be out here, and this can transition into a more darker asphalt. I typically like to just leave the paths like the vanilla way. Honestly, with this additional mod that fixes the shadows on the edges, it does look pretty nice. And I do like the simplistic look. Alright, let's see how that looks. Yeah, not too shabby. Added some stone bricks just to show that it had like pavers. Alright, this place is starting to come along together pretty nicely. I think that'll be it for this chapter. I've got so much that I want to do, I don't know what to do next. A couple of things that I do have higher up on the list are adding some more trees. Right now, there isn't much around here. There really wouldn't be much trees on an airfield, but surrounding the area, there would be. Maybe we can add some behind this. So I'll have to make sure that the trees don't obstruct that view. So maybe along the edge of the water here, we can add some, and then sort of along this path here, like that. And then we can add some on this area here. So that'll be all for this chapter. We've got the challenge of trees to build in the next chapter, which I think will be interesting, but I'll see you guys in the next chapter.